Okay, so as Dad was telling you in the previous episode that he was on, he goes to the top of this hill, right? And he sees these two lights up on the horizon. And, first train of thought is like, oh, it's the sun. Wait a minute. There's not two suns. That's weird. So immediately it's fear. He turns like he's going to run, but then he looks back and a third one appears. Next thing he remembers, he's at the campfire. Okay. Well, that was the 4 hours. So here's what happened. One of those lights approached him. It came up to him. And my dad was able to recall reaching out and touching it. But it was this thing of pure living light that was shaped like maybe like a teardrop shape. Like he commonly draws it like the shape of a tear. How it's kind of rounded in the front and then it narrows, you could like a football, but also kind of like a teardrop. I don't know. But anyway, so it's like that, but then it has these spikes of light rotating around it. It's like kind of like plasma, kind of like light that is sentient. I can't describe it. I try to use different words.
Okay.
Hoping that it'll catch.
And it's just this ball of light floats up to him.
Yes, but it's massive. It's a vessel of some kind. It's like
how big would you say?
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, but based on his description, probably 40 foot.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's huge.
Wow.
In the distance, it's like covering the horizon like the sun, and it comes up to him and it's got these spikes of light rotating around it. And he even recalls like the shapes of them and he reaches out to touch it. Next thing he knows, he's in a dark room and, he can see stars all around him and he's surrounded by these entities, these 7 to 8 foot tall entities. The ones that
the big ones.
Uh-huh. And Dad's freaking out. He's like, where's my son? Where's my son? Where's Chris Jr.? And they're like, basically, don't worry about him. We're keeping him safe. We're watching over him. And basically, they tell him all kinds of things. Like the stuff I said earlier. They said they're the guardians. They serve creation. Yes, they had the triangle on their chest. They said it represented creation or the Trinity. The idea that there are, divine forces creating us, and they basically said that they protect us from dark forces. I mean, they guide our evolution. Exactly the stuff I said earlier. This is the stuff they told him in that span of time.
In this black, dark room that he was in?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was inside the light. It was like,
right.
He could see the stars around him. It was like translucent. Imagine you're in something like let's just say a ship. Maybe not necessarily technological. I mean, we're talking about dimensional entities here.
Right, exactly.
But we'll just say for conversational sake, it's a ship, right? Mm-hmm. And you're looking around and it's like, it's dark because you can see all the stars around you, but there's no walls. It's like translucent, like glass. You can just see everything around you.
It's like he stepped through a portal or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And wherever you thought is where it would go. They let him do it. Think wherever you think you'll go. You control with your mind. It's like you're connected to this. It's a kind of dimensional technology that we don't have, And they explained to him, they said the people in power of the world, they don't like us too much. They're very afraid of us, but they can't really do anything about it. And we're the guardians. We're here to help. And many years went by before he really learned much more about their intentions, because like he explained, he came back, the 4 hours was over. And over the next 5 years, we would be having experiences. Like I heard my sister explain it. It was like poltergeist activity in the house.
Before we go there, I want to ask, so that hypnotic regression, that was the first hypnotic regression your dad did where he where he just remembered what happened.
Right.
Why do they wipe your memory?
Why?
Even do they? Maybe they don't. Like you said, maybe it's just trauma. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just your own mind doing this to save yourself the anxiety.
I think in the case of my dad, it could have been trauma. I don't know, because I will say it took him about a year and a half between that initial night and then the actual hypnotic regression because of the Discovery Channel investigation.
Yeah.
And that's the one good thing that came out of all of the Discovery Channel stuff was the regression. Everything else, don't care about it. But
did your brother do a regression?
No.
No?
No. None of us kids have had. I mean, I've had like a past life regression, if you believe in that kind of thing. But no, I haven't had this kind of, You know, here I am. I'm going on.
Why didn't your brother do it?
It wasn't offered.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As far as I know. Or he didn't want any part in it. He didn't want to go forward with it. I don't know. I mean, it was like 16 years ago.
Yeah. He was only 17.
Yeah. He would have been about 18 by the time the documentary came out.
Okay.
But anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I don't have recurring dreams. And that I haven't had missing time in all three of my siblings. I mean, there's got to be things floating around up in there that I don't remember. I mean, there's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, like, I have a lot of recurring dreams about being in that dark room surrounded by these entities.
You do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, it's crazy. You asked me just a little bit ago if I've had experiences on the level of my dad or whatever. No. I have seen entities, but it's like a flash. It's not like Dad where they stop and they say what's up and they show you the symbol on their chest and they're like, it's not like that. It's more so like I see it and I lock eyes with it and then it's gone. Or like one
Like
time.
where?
And around the house, in the living room, in my bedroom, front yard, walking through the yard, wherever, it doesn't matter. It's happened on 3 or 4 occasions. There was one time where this is one of those things that I want to recover, a memory, you know, because I know there has to be more to it. When you see these entities, it's like time clearly works so differently for them. I mean, you just see them in the way they pop in and they shimmer and then they're gone. It's like, I feel like there's something more to what happened. But I was sitting there with my friend and we were sitting like, it's like a 90-degree angle. Like you have the wall here and my back's to this wall, his back's to that wall, but we have the same line of sight. You see? Mm-hmm. I know the camera might not see it, but you see it. We're looking the same direction, but we're at an angle. Mm-hmm. And we're just talking and something touched me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I pull my shirt up and I show him and I had a red mark where there was like a handprint on my ribs. Like literally just like this sensation of, it was like magnetism, like warm electrical magnetism touched me. It wasn't painful. It was actually kind of pleasant. And I saw the mark. And I'm like,
pleasant?
Yeah. Like
felt good?
I mean, not like good, but it wasn't painful.
Okay.
Like you would think, you know, electricity would be. I can't describe it. It was like not painful. It wasn't damaging. It was just warm, but it felt like electricity. And I lifted my shirt. There's a mark. My friend's looking at me. And then we both look in the corner and there's an entity standing there. Its head is no higher than the doorknob. It looks exactly like the little one that my dad and my brother saw. Big round head, big round eyes, and its hands are like down by its side, but it's translucent and it's shimmering, and then it just disappears. Poof. And my friend looks at me and he's like, you just saw that too? And I'm like, yeah. And it was crazy, you know? And there's a couple other instances where it's been like that, where I see it and then it's gone. There's one time where something touched me on the shoulder from behind and I turned around and there was an orb, like kind of like a glowing orb. I didn't see the entity that time.
What that time when you felt it touch you and you looked behind you and it was a glowing orb, where were you? Were you outside? Was it daytime, nighttime?
I was just inside the house, like
just inside the house,
in the kitchen.
And there was an orb right behind you.
It was in the kitchen. Yeah. And then, well, the kitchen and into the, like not a formal dining room, but like a formal living room. It was weird. It's like the kitchen and the formal living room were together. So I'm in the kitchen. I turn around. It's over in the other room, but it's one big room. And then there's a couple other times, my sister and all of my siblings, we've all seen entities like that. But it's never like Dad. With Dad, they get out and they have a message, you know? They have a whole thing. Could it be because the regression? I don't know. I don't know.